Hello programmers. Today we are gonna see operators in Python. I can simply say operators are nothing but consider two variables and some function happening in between those two variables is nothing but an operator. I'm not gonna use a notepad today and give a sketch on how many kinds of operators are there because the list is too long. So I'll directly start with the coding part and explain you each and every operator in a sequential manner so you will get to know about all the operators in detail. And today we're gonna see about a method or a function called as the input function. Input function is nothing but taking a value from the user, means we are giving a value to the computer. So first of all, let's create a Python file in our PyCharm. We'll be creating a file with the name operators. So our Python file is ready. So the first operator will be arithmetic operator. Sorry, yes, arithmetic operator. In arithmetic operators, there are again nearly 7 sub-operators. We'll go one by one. The first one will be addition. So what is addition? You basically know the sum of two or more variables is addition. Say we are going to do all the variables, all the operators in two variables. So we'll take two variables. Suppose one variable will be x and the other variable will be y. Okay. So I told you about the input module. So let us say our value will take an input module and we are giving a message. Anything between a double quoted comma is a message. So I give a value like enter the value. This enter the value will appear to us in the terminal. So we are giving a value. Whenever you give a value, that value will be assigned to the variable x. I'll erase this y and I'll simply print, I'm sorry, it should not be capital P. I'll print the value x to show how the input module works. First I'll run this operator, this complete file. You can see here it is asking you enter a value. I can enter any value. So in specific I'm giving a value 5. Now it is printing the x value as 5. But we want to make sure that it is x value because in future sessions we'll be taking the input for y value also. So what do we do is we'll just modify this print statement a little bit so that we'll get a perfect value. So in the print statement also, whatever it is given in the double quoted comma means it is a character. So we'll give something, a message like the value of x, simply the value of x, and we want the x value to be printed here. So what we'll do is we'll give a flower bracket and after the inverted comma we'll give dot format. Here dot format means the flower bracket which I am given here, it will take the value of whatever it is given inside the format block. Suppose if I give an x here, this flower bracket will take the value of x, means it will simply print the value of x. Now let us run this so you'll get an idea. So here I'm giving the value as 9, so it will return the value as print. In the print session it will give the value of x colon 9, or you can simply in the program, if you change the colon to is, then it will give is. And there is a small problem here. What if I give a character as an input, but we are giving addition? Don't you think that characters don't add up? This is an arithmetic operator, means it is going on for numbers. So what do I do is I'll give as a character type as int, because if you give a string character it should throw us an error. So let us check this. Now when I do this, I'll give IM as a value, but it will give me an error. What is an error here? It's a value error. A value error means it is asking for some particular value and we are not giving that value. There is an error in the value, so the value will be invalid literal for int with a base 10m, which is asking for an integer, not a character. So we'll run this program again. Now I'll give a character, not a character, I'll give a floating value, because it is not an integer, it is a float value. It will not take again, it will give an value error again, saying that it should require a integer value, not a floating value. So for now I'll give a value 9 and the value of x is 9. Okay, this is where you learn about the input print module and how to assign an integer or a character or floating data type to a certain variable. Apart from this, we'll learn the rest in the coming sessions. Now we know the value of x. Now the same thing, I'm gonna give the value of y. So here we have x and y values, but we need a variable to just store the sum value of x and y. What should that be? I'll say add. In add, I am saving the x and the y values. Okay. Now x plus y, whatever we give the values, that is a quite different scenario. We'll check it out later. Okay. And the hash symbol is the hash symbol in the beginning is a comment line, so these two won't run. I hope you're familiar with that. Now I'm simply printing the add. Now I'm printing the add. So let's run this and see. So it is asking me the first value. I'll give it as 5 and the second value will be 9. So we have the answer 14. But do you want it to leave it like that? Because now if you are working alone, we know what the value is. But if the program is large enough, we literally don't know what it is. So we should know it is the addition of the variables x and y. So simply we'll put an inverted commas in the print block and we'll say the addition of of x and y is, and a flower bracket as I told you earlier, and dot format. You must recently get a dot y dot format. Suppose there are two, like here I want to print x value and the y value also, then how it will be? Then can I say format dot x comma y comma add? Then it will be the first parenthesis will take the value of x, the second will take the value of y, and the third will take the value of add. Now I'm formatting it with Control L. I want my lines to be formatted. Somewhat I don't feel it good. So I'm giving the values as 5, 9, and the answer is the addition of 5 and 9 is 14. See, now we know what it is, what that 14 is. So it's a bit of a clarity, can I say? That's what a programmer needs. So we'll go to the next part. Next part is nothing but subtraction. So we'll simply give sub is equal to x minus y. I'm not changing the variables because I want to take two inputs and I want to work on all the operators with only those two inputs so that you'll get an idea how the values vary. So for subtraction, I'm giving a variable called sub and x and y values you are taken in the upfront already. Now I'm printing the subtraction value. Simply the difference, I can say, the difference of, can I put it on curls so that it is very much neat, and I'm simply closing the braces and I'm giving the format module x comma y comma add, sorry, subtract, or I can simply save it as difference, but it is okay. So we'll run this program once and see how the addition and subtraction turns out. There is no, like, computer knows, obviously knows the negative values also, because an integer takes minus 128 to plus 128 values. So it's a chill, not only 128, it will take more value also. If it is less than 1 byte, then it is 128. If it is more than 1, then it will take the multiples of 225. So first value will be 5, the second value will be 9. So you can see here the addition of 5 and 9 is 14 and the difference of 5 and 9 is 4. In the same way, I'll just script out multiplication and division for you. I'll come to the division part later because there are two types of divisions. One is a division, next is a modulus, and there is a third one also which is called as the floor division. I'll come to that. First, let us see what is multiplication. Multiplication is a star symbol, but I want you to mark my word that this star over there, you can do n number of operations with that star, not only multiplication. I'll come to that. At the end of the video, I'll give you what all this star can do and when it can do, what it can do. So I'll just print the value of multiplication here. Can I say simply multiple of x and y is so and so, and I'll give a dot. Don't give comma, it will throw you an error. Errors are actually not good for programmers. For testers it is very good because you test errors, so that is very nice. So this is multiplication and we are running the program, and I'll give the same old values. I don't want to change the values. You can see the addition of 5 and 9 is 14, difference is minus 4, and the multiplication is 45. So let's go to division part. As I said you, and I'm sorry I didn't change the heading over here. This should be subtraction. I am very clean about this because if you need the document, I'll just post it. I don't want a complication. I'll share the GitHub folder for every bigger projects which we do. I don't want to do it now itself. Now we'll come to division part. Yes. So in division, there are three types of divisions. One is the regular division, and the second one will be the modulus, and the third one will be the floor division. First, let us go to the division. So can I say div is equal to x divided by y, and let's print, I'm sorry, in the next line, let's print it out. The, what can I say, parts of, because dividing is nothing but making some parts. You take one whole thing, and if you divide it by 2, there'll come 2 parts, and we'll call each one as one half. So I'll call it as half. The parts of in is, I'll put a format and I can say it as x comma y comma div. I'll format it. Will it throw me an error? No, it didn't. Why? I had a doubt that if it is dividing, then the answer will be a floating value. 5 divided by 9 is 0.55 and so on, it is 6. But it is a floating value. Why didn't it throw me an error? That's where my question comes. And the answer for this will be only the variables you're saving the x and y values are integer. Dividend is the div didn't record a something called a data type. So it will take the data type whatever the answer is. But if at all you're doing the same program in C language or C++, you need to give a specific data type for div. That is a very bad or a disadvantage in C, and that you can tell it is an advantage in Python. So we'll come to the next part. I like this one very much. It's the modulus. So what is modulus? Modulus is nothing but the reminder. Okay, keep in mind that it is nothing but the reminder. What does it remind? It reminds how much is left out. Suppose if you're dividing 3 by 2, then one part is left out. In a 3 parts, 2 parts are got divided and one part will get left out, and it is returning that one part of a value. Simply you can say you can identify the even numbers of odd numbers when you divide it by 2, and the symbol for modulus is percentile. Remember that it's percentile. So let us say mod is equal to x percentile y, and in this one I'll be printing it as the remainder is, and I'm not taking the x and y values because you already know what it is. Do I need to do it for every time? Okay, but I'm changing the x value as 9 and y value as 5 here. So the remainder is 4. When 9 is divided by 5, 5 ones is 5 and the remainder is 4. That is what it is. Modulus is nothing but a reminder. The next part is floor division. So what is this floor division? You have seen the division rule over here. Division rule, it divides it completely and even it gives a floating value. But when you are giving a floor division, what happens is it will not give the floating value. It rounds off to the nearest whole number. That's what it does. Suppose if the values are 3 comma 2, like 3 floor divided by 2, then if it is a regular division it will give you as 1.5, but in floor division it will simply give you as 1. That's what it does. It does not calculate the floating values and the decimal points and all. It simply gives you the whole number. Let's print out. The floor value is I'll simply take this value and I'll run this program. I'm sorry, I accidentally ticked the favorites button, so I'll give it as 9, I'll give it as 5, and the floor value is 1. Yeah, obviously the floor value is 1 because 9 divided by 5, it will go to 1, and the 4 is a remainder, it will not divide that 4. So it will give you 1. And the next arithmetic operator we are going to see is exponential, or simply I can tell you power of x. Suppose I'll save it as POW and X power 2y, like it's nothing but 2 power 3. If x value is 2 and y value is 3, it is calculating 2 power 3, means it will return the value 8. Now let's print out and let us see. The value is simply, I don't want to simply print out the answer, so I'm giving it like this. That's all, that's the part. Okay, I'm just running it. I'm using the shortcut Control plus F5 for running the program. Every time I don't want to simply go there. 9, 5. And 9 power 5 is 59049. I'm sure it is correct. You can check your calculators if you want to. So these are all the arithmetic operators we have. Simply, there are 7 arithmetic operators we have. It is very simple, it is not difficult about the arithmetic operators. And there is one funny question I remember asking my faculty member when all this is going on, when we were first reading about arithmetic operators. We know all these values, right? What is 5 divided by 9 or 9 divided by 5? Is it necessary to write a program for all these things? But I can simply tell you something, it is necessary, because when you're doing it for a single variable or a little bit, what do you say, smaller values like 5, 9 and all, it is good. For example, let me run this same program for something like 20, 20, 20, 20, and it is dividing by 50, 50. What is the value? And can you perform all this in a fraction of a second? Can you see the power value over here? I don't know how to read this also. So that is the reason it is necessary. Okay, fine. Let's get back to the operators. We are moving out from arithmetic operators. We are moving into assignment operators. So the next part is assignment operators. I'll completely comment out the complete arithmetic operators here so that it will not disturb me every time I run the console like this. So all this has been quoted, so it is in comments right now. So this 26 lines, I'm clicking the small arrow mark so it will just disappear. I can work coolly over here. So I'll start with the assignment operators. The first ever assignment operator is equal to. What is equal to? Simply consider a variable x, like we always do. Consider a variable x, and we are assigning a value to x. For example, we'll take a string this time. Why a integer every time? We'll take a string. Now I'm assigning Monish to x. So that is called an assignment operator. Suppose if we add an addition with an assignment, for this it's an addition. So I'll take a variable 5 and I'm giving x is equal to x plus 5. So what is happening over here? Or I'll make it 3 for understanding sake. So what is happening here? First, the value of x is 5. In the step on line number 32, that 5 is added to 3, and 5 plus 3 is equal to 8, and that 8 is being stored in x. Is it a bit confusing? I hope it's not. It will not be also. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see here. First I'll print out the x value here. Sorry about the capitals. Now I'm printing out the x value in the line 34. If I run the program now, here first you can see the 5. and the next it can see the 8. Simply first x is taking an assignment assigning value of 5, and the next part it is adding up x plus 3. It will become a total of 8, and the 8 value is being assigned to x. Means a variable can be changing. When the operation is going on, it can also be changing. That's all. There is nothing more over here. So in the same way, I can even do like this. Even this is the same, simply like this or this, both are same. They're not different. Why they are not different? This is the short form of x is equal to x plus 3. X plus equal to 3 is nothing but x is equal to x plus 3. This is just a short form. We programmers are some lazy ass, so we do that. We don't like to type all stuff, so we are very much into shortcuts. So we made even this shortcut. We don't want to type all this stuff, so we'll simply type this. So x is equal to x plus 3 is written as x plus equal to 3. Suppose you are subtracting the same way. I want x is equal to x minus 3. Then what do you do? Simply x minus is equal to 3. If you want to multiply, x multiplied is equal to 3. Means x multiplied is equal to 3 is nothing but x is equal to x multiplied by 3. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. So it is same for all the operators. X percentile is equal to 3, x for foreground is equal to 3, or x power of 3. It is simply same. All these values means x is equal to x plus minus multiplication division modulus floor power of 3. So it is just taking a value, performing some operation and giving back the value to the same variable. We are not saving in some other variable, we are giving the value to itself. So first x is modified at all formats and it is giving it to the x. That's all. There is nothing more to it. So these are the assignment operators. The next part we'll see the comparing operators. I'll just comment out all these. I hope it is easy for you people too. Okay, I'll comment it out and I'll close it. So we'll start here with the comparison operators. The name itself tells us what it does. It compares, nothing much. It just compares. So what it is comparing? It is comparing two values. For suppose if x and a double equal to y is given. If x and a double equal to y is given, what does it does? It takes the value of an x and it will compare, is it equal to y. If it is equal to y, then it will print true, or else it will print false. So I'll give an example over here. Let's say x equal to 6 and let's take 5, y is equal to also 6. Now I'm printing x equal to y. So what will it print? X equal to y. So will it print 6 is equal to 6? No, it doesn't print like that. When a operator is being compared, means two variables are being compared, then it will just check whether it is true or false, and the returning value also will be either true or false. Suppose if we do this, it's true. It's showing as true. It's not showing as x6 is equal to 6 or x is equal to y. It is showing as true. Suppose I change the value of the 5 y to 5 and I run this program, then simply it is false. So this true or false over here is the boolean data type. Means when you compare it, when it gives you true or false, then it is returning the boolean way. It's not returning a value, it is returning a type. It is returning a boolean type, whether it is true or false. Even the true or false is 1 or 0 in binary. So we'll go to the next part. The next part will be, is it, if it is equal to, we have an equation. Then if it is not equal to also, we'll definitely have an equation. And the equation or the operator for not equal to is an exclamatory mark and an is equal. Simply we'll write an equal sign and put a slash while writing it if it is not equal. If it is LHS is not equal to RHS, we'll put a slash in center of equal to and say it is not equal. So in the same way the computer understands it as a slash, an exclamatory mark telling you that it is not equal. So when I print this out, what does it return? It is telling true because x is not equal to y. And what are all the other comparing operators we are having? We are having the greater. Is x greater than y? This is one operator. And if we have greater, we will obviously have lesser also, or smaller, I can tell you. What if it is less than and equal to? We know the operators like less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. If it is equal to, then we'll simply put equal to y, and if it is less than, we'll put less than, sorry, is it, yes, greater than or equal to y. We'll run it and all the answers will be of boolean type itself. You can see here the first one is false. X is equal to y? No, it is not x equal to y, so it is false. X is not equal to y, it is true. And x is greater than y? Yes, x is greater than 5, so it should return true. It is returning true. And the next part, x is less than y? No, it's false. And x is less than or equal to y? No, it's false. X is greater than or equal to y? It is true. So these are all the comparison operators we are having. There are another two types of operators, and the last one will be the star operator. If you remember, I'll tell you about it at the last because that's a very interesting operator, I'm telling you. After completing of the session, I'll show you how much code we have written it today. That's really great for now. Logical operator. So what is a logical operator? What all logics we have? If A and B are equal, then it is equal. Here AND is an operator. So what it is? AND means if A is true and B is true, then it is true, or else it is false. You got that point? If either one is true, then it is true. That is OR operator. A or B, any one of it should be true, or else it is false. In AND operator, both should be true, then only it is true. Suppose we have another operator called as the NOT operator. That NOT operator is simply like the negotiation. If A is true, then the answer will be false. Just the opposite or the reverse of whatever statement we are giving. Suppose I am giving the value of x is 7 and I say the value of y is 3, and I am printing out x is less than 5 simply, and x is less than 10. Okay, so I'll simply take off this y value because I'm not using this y value. So let us see here. Is x is less than 5? No, x is greater than 5. So the first option here is false. And the second one over here is x is less than 10. Yes, x is less than 10. But according to the AND rule, if both the values are true, then it will return true, or else it will return false. So let us run this program and see what will happen. You can see it is returning as false. Now we'll check with the OR operator. If we'll give the same thing, why do we change it? Or x is less than 10. The property of OR operator over here is if any one of the condition is true, it will simply return true, or else it will return false. So what should it return for the OR operation? It should return true because x is less than 10. 7 is less than 10. So we'll run it out. You can see it is returning the value true. Next, we'll be printing out the NOT operation. How do you print out this NOT operation? NOT, first, in the bracket, I'll put a condition x is less than 10. Why in the bracket? Because the computer doesn't know that x is less than 10 is a single condition. It will take NOT of x. NOT of x means it's not relevant. So now it will become NOT of that complete information in the bracket. That bracket where I can tell you is x is less than 10. So now what will be the value written? Is x is less than 10? Yes, 7 is less than 10. So it is true, but it will return false. That's what is happening. These are the logical operators which we need while performing a program. So I'll comment this out. I'll not be needing this for the next operations. Yes, now the next operation is identity operation. The name itself tells everything, there is no need of an explanation. What is it identifying? It is identifying whether, suppose I'll give you with an example, x is and the y is, I'll take 6 to show it as true, then I'll take some other value to show it as false. One of the identification operator is, which is I, yes. What is, suppose x is y. If I give a statement like x is y, what does it mean? It simply means x is equal to y. Does it? Simply does it say x equal to y? It is checking whether both the values are same. If it is same, it will give you true. If it is not same, it will give you false. I'm running this program and it is giving me a returning value as true. Simply it is telling me those two values are equal. Now I have changed the y value to 5 and I'm running this program again and it is returning me false. The two values are not same. So that's what it is. In the same way, I can even test if it is not equal to. Simply x is not y, means x is not sharing the value of y. Now if I print this, it will return true because x and y values are different. So these two are the identity operators. I'll close this. And the next operator will be what? Any guesses? The star operator. One most stupidest operator which you can't find an explanation in any website. And that is for sure. You can't find an explanation for this particular operator in any of the educational websites because no one tells about this operator. So you know what this star operator does? One, it does multiplication. multiplication. Yeah, I know that's very similar, and everyone will tell about the multiplication, and it calculates the power of x. It calculates the power also. That's awesome. Do you know that even it is used for many other purposes? For example, I'll take a name. I'll take my name itself, and I want to split this name into separate variables. I want to save m in a separate variable. I want to save o in a separate variable. I want to save UNI. These three variables in a separate variable. So how is that possible now? You have seen till now if x star y. You have seen only if a star is given after the variable. Suppose you give it before the variable. Then simply it will take out all the rest of the values like print. I'm giving a star x. What does it do now? A is taking the value of m and B is taking the value of O. The rest of the name is being saved on X. And that is what it does. Simply I'm printing out this so you'll understand it nicely. You can see that UNISH is saved in star of X. Suppose I want the last letter H to be saved in another variable like C. Now what happens? Will it take only UNIS? Does the computer understand that much over a single star operator? Yes, this star operator is very much stupid. So it understands that star of x comma c means there is something else. How many variables? It calculates how many variables are there after the operator. If there are more than one, then it will check how many and it will assign so many values to those many variables, and the rest it will take it for its own. You might ask me, is it only for strings? No, it's not only for strings. Suppose I'll assign some variables like first, second, and star of y because I've already used x, and the last. I'll format it and I'll take a list. I'll take a list of numbers like another number is nice, or I'll take 5, 6, 7. I'll take these many numbers. I'll format the group. Yes. Now what happens? Any idea on what happens now? The first variable will take the value 1. The second variable will take the value 2. The last variable will take the value as 7. And it will print out all these values in all the other values in star of y. Let's simply print out star y over here. What happens now? You can see that the remaining values over here 3, 4, 5, 6 will take the value in star of y. If any one of you are familiar with functions, I'm going to give you an example with functions also. If you are not familiar, it's okay to be not familiar. Just note it down. I'll tell you when I'm explaining you about the functions. I'm defining a function called f, and the f takes three values x comma y comma z, and there should be a semicolon, sorry, colon. What does it do? It is printing out x plus y plus z. But the funny part is I am not having three separate values of x plus x comma y comma z. I am having a list. Let that list be 1 comma 2 comma 3. Now what should I do to give separate values? Do I need to again write another program for the variable x to take the value 1, y2, z3, or simply I can call the function and I can put a star mark with L. If I put a star mark with L, you can see in the above itself it is showing that x comma y comma z, all the three values are being taken out by a single variable L. Let's print this out. You can see the answer as 6. It is simply printing out 1 comma 2 comma 3, the sum of 1 comma 2 comma 3. So that's what it is. So until here we have completed the operators part. I have almost covered all kind of operators available on Python. There is one different operator which is available on Python, that is called as the bitwise operator. Okay, what is bitwise operator? Simply it is for binary operations only. But most of us are not using binary operations in Python because they have been mostly used on C language itself, and binary operations in Python requires some knowledge with binary numbers. But I think this is not the correct time to explain you about binary numbers and then go with the binary operators. So I'm not explaining you this part. But if you need a document or anything about a bitwise operator, just comment down in the comment section. I'll post a link after if anybody needs it, or if there is more number of people asking about the binary operators, then I'll do a separate video explaining about the binary variables and I'll explain about the binary operators. So we have learned something about operators now. Why don't we put it to a test? So we'll do a program. Simply I can tell you I'll create another new Python file. I'll name it as operators underscore 1 just for reference, caps off. Now what program shall we do? Suppose we'll write a Python program which has to accept the radius of a circle from the user, and then it has to print out the area. There are two ways in doing this program. Pause the video right here, try it for yourself, and then come and check it out for answers, because a practice session is much more needed. I'll type up the question here so you can understand it. Write a program, Python program, which accepts the radius of the circle and will compute the area. Radius of the circle from the user. Let's be more specific. I know our system is a baby. So this is the question. Pause the video over here, do it on your own, and post it in the comment sections. Let's see how many of you are doing it correct. So I'll start the program now. Suppose let the radius be an y not a floating point, and it should take an input from the user. So I'll give it as enter the radius. That sounds nice. And then I hope everyone knows the formula for area of a circle. Area is equal to pi r square. What is the value of pi? 3.14. And what is the value of r? R is nothing but the radius. But since it is a square of radius, I'll put it in a bracket. Radius power 2 means it is r square, radius square. Now I just want to print out the answer. Let the answer be the radius of the circle, the area of the circle, circle with radius. What is the radius? We are entering the radius, so I'll put a flower bracket is, and I'll put another flower bracket to tell you what it is. The first flower bracket, it should take the radius as an object, and the second flower bracket must take area as an object. Now let's print this out. I'm sorry, okay, that is going with the first operators program. I didn't compile the second one. Now it is asking me the radius. Let the radius be 1.1 since it is a floating value, and the area of this circle is 3.7994 and a lot number of zeros. So this is the area of this circle. I'll compile it again and I'll give you a floating value, not a floating value, a regular integer value. I've given the radius of the circle as 5 and the area of the circle is 78.5. So this is how you do a small kind of a programs. I hope everyone is a bit understanding what is happening over here. Let me say I can do the same program in another format. I'll comment out. There is no need of commenting out actually. I'll write it here itself. From math. I'm sorry. From math. I'm importing pi. What is it? What is this math? What is this importing and what is this pi? In Python, there is an advantage of using the modules or someone else's project as your own. You can use means with the permission, of course, not without the permission. So here math is a very important mathematical module which is having almost all kind of mathematical functions. For example, I can tell you like this import. If I type p, what are all kind of like values coming with p? Pi is pi power product log 1 of p exponential and all these things. Exceptions, copy signs. Suppose if I take s, the sign of a value, the sine h, the hyperbolic functions, the square root, the cos, degrees, radians. So this math module is having almost every function of mathematics in it. So it becomes very much easy to use it. So there is a way to install a mathematical or any kind of a module. The way to install it is open your command prompt, type in pip. Pip is a pip installer or a Python package installer. So and install math. Since I'm already having math, it will say all the requirements are successful or it has been satisfied already, or if it needs to get upgraded, it will upgrade. I'm sorry, I'm using a very old version of a pip, so it is giving me an error. It's okay because I'm already having math, it is not a problem for me. And math generally is a inbuilt package of Python. I think you don't need to install it there, but there are several other packages to be installed externally. When we are using that package, I'll install it. For example, Turtle is a very important package and it is used for animations. You can draw a tree with Turtle. If you want to know how, just comment it on the comment section. I'll let you know how to do that. So I think this is enough for this session. I'll end this video right now. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel for some awesome Python programs. Thank you very much.